pano taiona moto marongera vanoita wepanyika vanoda kuti isu vamwe tioneswe moto dai pasina kupindira kwaishe vechokwadi pasi pano taiona moto marongera vanoita wepanyika vanoda kuti isu vamwe tioneswe moto dai pasina.
Lawyers representing CCC leader Jameson Timber and 79 others have asked to the court to dismiss the charges against their clients on grounds the police violated their constitutional rights by detaining them for more than 48 hours before taking them to court. Appearing before Magistrate Ruth Moyo, the bruised and battered accused persons who were forced to crawl while being brutally assaulted during their arrest Sunday raised the constitutional violation.
We appeared before Esquire Ruth Moyo for initial appearance on behalf of our clients, 78 of them. So before the charges were put to our accused, we raised, we actually made an application that our clients had been over-detained because in terms of the constitution, they are supposed to be brought before a court in 48 hours. So we made the application that they were brought before the court beyond the 48 hours, that period that is required by the constitution. So the state obviously opposed the application, and the accused persons were told to come to court tomorrow for ruling at 11:15. So that is the update that we have.
Are there any other complaints besides offer detention?
We have not yet proceeded to the stage of making complaints against the police. We have just made the point that the accused persons had been over-detained, and on that basis alone, all the proceedings that were following after the over-detention were subsequently legal. So the position is that they were over-detained, and we want the court to pronounce itself on whether their detention is illegal.
Just as the country gets ready to host the SADC summit, police descended on Timber's home where they arrested the CCC supporters who were commemorating the Day of the African Child. The arrest was so brutal it left some of the accused persons injured and with broken legs. The heavy assault on the opposition has been seen as an attempt to silence opposing voices and a closure of democratic space for a country which claims to be on a re-engagement drive.
The question is that these charges are targeted, and the perpetuation of the ruling party's retentionist mindset, which seeks to limit and thwart any dissenting views or dissenting opinions from the opposition mainly. This is an attack on the opposition. It's an attack which has not started today, but an attack which started even during the Mugabe days. You know very well that there was a shrinking of the democratic space, and there was also a deliberate and intentional attempt at stopping opposition activities in this country. The young people had gathered. It was a private meeting. They had gathered at a private residence. And the intention of that gathering was to, number one, commemorate June 16, which is recognized internationally as the Day of the African Child. And what we saw on this day is a repeat of the unfortunate incidents of June 16 in South Africa during apartheid South Africa. And we see that in an independent and democratic Zimbabwe. What this entails is that the regime is hell-bent on stopping voices of dissent. The regime is hell-bent on stopping the opposition. It's as if the opposition is now a banned organization. It's as if the CCC and the entire opposition forces are banned in this country and in perpetuation of the retentionist agenda of the ruling party. And we have seen this. It not only happened here. It's unfortunate that in Harare, our young people, over almost 80 of them, in fact it was over 80, some were then released in circumstances we will then explore in court. But in Bulawayo, they stopped an activity again of young people which were supposed to commemorate June 16. In Chinoi just yesterday, the police, riot police, heavily armed to the truth. They stormed our provincial offices and barred an activity of our young people. So we are seeing this trend across the country, and it's very worrying. We are disturbed. And our lawyers are going to be doing everything in their power. We have a very strong team of lawyers who are going to be advancing the case of our arrested cadres. A lot of them are injured. A lot of them have been, they've broken limbs, they've broken legs. We have one woman with a broken leg. She has not necessarily been able to go into a proper theater to get x-rays done and to get a plaster, administered on her. This is worrying. We have minors. We have a 16-year-old boy who is in that courtroom, part of the accused persons. And yet we know that our law does not allow for these minors to be prosecuted and persecuted in the manner that is happening now. So we wait to see how the courts are going to deal with this. Our hope is that our courts will conduct themselves judiciously. Our hope is that the courts will not involve themselves in the political arena. Our hope is that the courts will uphold justice in this country. Thank you very much.
As the courts delayed in pronouncing its ruling on the constitutional violations of the rights of the accused persons, outside relatives and friends were grappling with the heavy-handedness of the police, who swung their button sticks with ease even at the elderly, eager to see their own, who have been behind bars since Sunday. A grandmother left to tend to a suckling child was in tears and could not control her emotions and struggles in fending for an infant whose mother is an unwilling guest of the state. The anger of those who came to give the arrested moral support was heavy and could not be mistaken. They seemed fed up of a state using hard power to keep its citizens in line, arresting minors, dehumanizing accused persons, and facing allegations of violating constitutional rights just to keep opponents in check.
isusu tauya kuno kusema youth tine vamwe vedu vakasungwa bhoti zvekuma 72 saka tauya kuti tizoteererawo sema youth but tarambidzwa kupinda tikazapinde saka sofa tinongori panze zvinhu zviri kutirwadza zvaizvezvi tiri kurwadziwa tiri kubatikana kuti pamwe pacho tiri kutobuda misodzi nekurwadziwa kuti tinosvika kupi zvichiramba zvakadai since tichidawo kusununguka like but zvinhu zvacho hazvisi kutiitira semayuth hazvisi kutijekera.
The party organizing secretary Amos Chivhayo, who was recalled for parliament by Sengezo Chabangu, led scores of supporters at the courts to show solidarity. A victim of numerous arrests that have failed to yield convictions, Chivhayo addressed supporters.
what is happening is just torture. But let's remain stronger. Victory is certain. Let's remain stronger, victory is certain, we're going to achieve. Our colleagues do not commit any offense. Because celebrating, commemorating June 16 is not a crime. It's an international day which is recognized. So there's no need whatsoever for them to be arrested. But we'll get there. What simply means that the regime is panicking. Because they've stolen elections on 23 August 2023. That's why they're just arresting people illegally. But we'll get there. Let's remain stronger. Victory certain.
The opposition has accused President Emmerson Mnangagwa and the ruling Zanu PF of abusing state resources to ensure their hold on power is unchallenged. The courts have also been seen as a willing conduit to the perpetuation of an era that erodes citizens' rights. It remains to be seen if the courts will free the 80 CCC members whose alleged crime is participating in a public gathering with intent to disturb peace. The public gathering was in a private home. Reporting for HSTV News and Current Affairs, Tanisha Gawa.
Chokwadi pasi pano taiona moto marongera